Well, good morning. This morning we began to read from the book of Amos. We read the first 2 chapters. Amos was a prophet who, though he came from the kingdom of Judah, mainly directed his prophecies towards the northern kingdom of Israel. But he begins his prophecies with prophecies about war crimes committed by the surrounding nations, and the people of Israel and Judah must have been lapping it up. God is going to judge those nations around us, and would have been delighted by what Amos was saying at first. How often we are quite entertained and enjoy sermons and messages that condemn sins that we have never committed, or the sins that have been committed against us. And we enjoy hearing that God is going to judge those who've done things that we were never even tempted to do. Then Amos turns his attention first to Judah. They've forsaken the law and they've forsaken the Lord and worshipped other gods, and then turns his attention to the kingdom of Israel. And so those who have been delighted with his message earlier, suddenly he turns his fire on them. And yet the fire that he turns on them is different. He's not now talking about war crimes, but the way that they treat each other, exploiting each other, ripping off each other. And he reminds them that God brought them up out of Egypt and gave them the land, chasing out more powerful nations than they. If God gave them the land, therefore they should worship him and honor him, because the one who gave can also take away. Amos prophesied real harsh warnings of destruction coming on Israel. And why? They sell the innocent for silver. They trample on the heads of the poor. God is always concerned. And as we read through these Old Testament prophecies, more than being concerned for obedience to the ceremonial law, more than being concerned about worshipping other gods, God condemns people for exploitation of the poor. In fact, his condemnation for forsaking the law is because the poor and the needy are exploited. As we read the Old Testament prophets, we see close to God's heart is a desire for fairness and justice in society. That's what's at the heart of the law. And this is what is being challenged in the book of Amos. Let's make sure that we are living near to God's heart, that we are obeying his law and thus caring for each other. The Lord bless you today. Amen.